In this episode of Wanderlust, we meet up with landscape photographers Eric and Stephanie Lowenbach. We lose their dog, explore the desert, find ancient petroglyphs, scout a morning shoot, and of course, drink. We're Chelsea and Tony Northrup, professional photographers and YouTubers who travel the world in pursuit of beautiful sights, interesting people, and stunning photos. Not only will we be traveling the world, but we'll be doing it with you, our viewers. Join us on an adventure we call Wanderlust.
So I wanted to go on a trip with Tony and Chelsea, and I wanted to see how you guys work and show you some of the things I've seen. I thought you'd really enjoy them.
Pleasure to meet you. How's it going?
I like to see Eric excited about stuff. It's really cute. So he had this idea that he wanted to send Tony and Chelsea a video, and like, okay, he wants to do it. I'm game, and it all seems to have worked out pretty well.
The first place we went after LAX was to Venice Beach, and we walked around the Venice boardwalk and looked at all the interesting people they have down there.
Visiting a location with fun styles and people is always a great opportunity for street photography. Look for moments that sum up what makes your location special. In this case, palm trees, people, and cool activities.
This happens all the time. I bring a camera, Chelsea doesn't, and she steals mine. I should just bring 2 cameras.
Venice Beach is full of interesting bikes, people, and their dogs. It creates a laid-back and fun vibe. Don't be afraid to get low to get an interesting perspective on your subject, like Tony's doing.
After Venice Beach, we went to Malibu, which has a beautiful coastline, and had a kind of a strange dinner at a very loud restaurant.
Eric and Stephanie just had this great rapport, and they reminded me so much of Chelsea and I. Like, they just both seemed super laid back and enthusiastic, but not like super extroverted. You know what I mean? They seemed like people we could hang with. And that's the most important thing, because, I mean, we're trying to film something, but really we're just trying to have a good time and have some good experiences for our own selves, and then have an excuse to make a video out of it. The Lowenbachs have 3 dogs, and the most enthusiastic of them is Obi. And we're packing up and ready to leave, and we have this like schedule, but Obi is just gone. He's just gone. And we have dogs, and we would freak out if one of our dogs just disappeared. Like, that would be it. The trip would be canceled until we found him. So we were all combing the neighborhood, and I was flying a drone around trying to find Obi. It was ridiculous. And then, of course, it turns out Obi was inside the house the whole time. They go to take the other dogs for a walk to see if that will scare Obi up. And he just hears that we're going for a walk, and he comes out running. I'm like, I want to go for a walk too. Like, where were you hiding this whole time? It's like Home Alone.
First day, we went from home to a place called Randsburg, which is a semi-ghost town. It really should be a ghost town, but because of all the off-roading activity they have in the area, it's sort of semi-alive on life support, because the off-roaders like to go there and buy beer and cigarettes and hang around a little bit. During the spring, when we were there really weren't that many off-roaders, so it's more or less a ghost town with a few people living there.
When planning your trip, look for locations along the way that might be photogenic. Google Maps is a good way to scout a location, as are travel forums. Tony and I tried to capture the little details that made Randsburg unique, its arrested decay, quaint signs, and rustic charm. found a cute little general store, bought some root beers to keep cool, and walked Randsburg in search of some photo ops. Sometimes the charm of a location can be in the details. Don't be afraid to isolate the little details you find interesting. Your photos can always be displayed as a series or collage, along with wider shots of your town. Alright, so we didn't get anything portfolio-worthy in Randsburg, but it was a scenic stop on our way to take landscape shots.
We went to Fossil Falls after Randsburg. Fossil Falls was a volcanic area with lots of lava and kind of a bleak landscape that in the right light can be very interesting. Landscapes that are very simple like that have a lot of potential, so I thought we could get some good shots there.
This lighting isn't great, but the landscape is beautiful and simple. We can make it work. When you have an interesting subject in your foreground on the ground, like this crackled earth here, you want to get low and shoot as low as you can to get it in the foreground.
We drove up this time for this trip and it was beautiful, but someone had taken rocks and with the lighter colored rocks spelled out love in really big letters with a peace sign in the O. And to me, that's like graffiti. I mean, it's like altering the landscape in a way that is not necessary. And it just was like, oh, I was just kind of enraged to see that big love, laid out on the dark red earth there.
As a caring park ranger, Stephanie makes an important point. One of the most moving parts of visiting the wilderness is soaking in an environment that looks untouched by man. The rawness is beautiful. Be considerate of the landscape and the people who visit it, and leave it the way that you found it. There's a lesson to learn even when you don't find a perfect photo op. There was a deep and impressive canyon just feet from us, but the midday sun kept us from capturing its depth. We were saving our best light for another location and realized we'd have to come back at a different time if we wanted to shoot the canyon.
There's a place on the eastern side of Owens Lake where there are 3,000-year-old petroglyphs or rock carvings and paintings that were put there by indigenous people. The thing I really like about that area is it's relatively unknown. You can't just follow a sign to get there or look it up on the internet. There's no indication that the petroglyphs are there. But when you know where they are, you can just kind of walk there and just walk among rocks that are marked by people who lived there 1,000, 2,000 years ago and sort of imagine what their life must have been like on the shores of the lake.
I'm fascinated with early human civilization and tribal humans, and so the petroglyphs are really fascinating to me to be able to see something that they physically created, to see the way that they represented their world and what things were important to them. I thought it was really amazing.
The petroglyphs were cool. I just kept trying to imagine what it was like when the people that had made the petroglyphs were there, because it was this desert and a lake had been almost entirely drained. So I was imagining what these people were doing at the time it was their shore, and they must have been sitting there and fishing and carving, and it was really neat.
Some of the petroglyphs they have there are starkly beautiful in their simplicity, and you can tell exactly what they are. Bighorn sheep, a sun and a moon. When we were there, we didn't have the opportunity to really get them in the best light. So photographically they weren't that great, but they certainly were interesting just to experience, I thought.
We had a great time the first time we were up there and we found them. We kind of took a roundabout way up to the rock formation where they were at, and we're about ready to give up when we finally saw one, and then we saw one and then another and another.
They didn't photograph as well as you might expect, because I think it was pretty close to being high noon, and it was just a remarkable experience. It was kind of fun trying to decipher what some of them were.
We kept driving north on Highway 395, which is kind of a landscaper's paradise. We ended up in a town called Lone Pine, which is right by a geologic feature called the Alabama Hills. It has been relatively popular in the past with landscape photographers because of the backdrop of the snow-capped Sierras, and I thought it would be a good place to shoot because you can't really swing a dead cat without hitting something beautiful out there. We didn't have a dead cat, so we went early the night before to kind of scope out a place to shoot from. We decided that Mobius Arch would be the best feature. We did figure out where the Mobius Arch is and figure out what angles we wanted to shoot from the next morning. We looked to see where sunrise was going to be and where the light was going to hit. And because the light that you want at sunrise is so fleeting, having been there the night before was really a great way to make sure that we were ready. We did stay in Lone Pine and did shuffleboard in a bar that must have been older than my grandfather. I always thought it was, you needed like a cushion of air to get that much frictionlessness on a puck, but no, that shuffleboard was frictionless.
And silicone on it.
Silicone? Wow, that's like sand. You'd think it would be like rough, but no.
In our next episode of Wanderlust, we location scout at the Mobius Arch. Tony is nearly scared to death. We share tips about landscape and portrait shoots and time lapses and sleep in an abandoned mining town. Love travel and photography? Subscribe to our channel to see more of Wanderlust and other photography tutorials. You can also check out our book, Stunning Digital Photography, if you want more in-depth tutorials.